Hi students, welcome to the class. I am Mrs. Anuradha Patnaik in this virtual class with the chapter Federalism Part 6 and the concluding part for class 10th students. In this class, I am going to teach you decentralization. Students, as you know, there are two tiers of government in India, but a third tier of the government was introduced through the 73rd and 74th amendment in the Constitution. Then, what is decentralization? When the power from the central government and state government is taken and is given to the local self-government is called decentralization. Then why decentralization is essential in India? Because India is a vast country. Here, it is difficult to run and administer the entire country with these two tiers only. That's why there is an urgent need for the third tier of the government. As India is a vast country and some of the states of India are also larger than some of the independent countries of Europe. We can make a comparison. For example, Uttar Pradesh is the state which is even bigger than Russia. Maharashtra is as big as Germany. Even some of the states in India are also internally very diverse. Thus, there is a great need of a third tier of government. Moreover, for practical purposes also it is essential because there are number of problems lying at the local level, and these problems can be resolved at the local level only by the people of the locality. Moreover, as India is a democratic country, this local self-government makes and materializes this spirit of the democracy true by making people participate directly in the government. And also, the third tier gives political training to the people at the grassroots level. Let me explain you the local self-government. It is divided into two, urban and rural. At the urban level, it is called as municipalities, and at the rural level, it is called as panchayats. Municipalities again divided into two. One is municipal council and the other is municipal corporation. And the panchayats are again divided. From bottom to top, if we move, the Gram Panchayat lies at the bottom level. And at the block level, Panchayat Samiti. And at the Jilla or the district level, the Jilla Panchayat. Now come to the municipal council. Municipal councils are set up in towns, and the head of the municipal council is called chairman. And municipal corporations are set up in big cities, and the head of the municipal corporation is called mayor. Students, let me explain you detailing about the rural panchayat. The rural local self-government is called as Panchayati Raj system. Each village or group of villages in some states form Gram Panchayat. So this Gram Panchayat is made up of Sarpanch and Panchas. Then who is Sarpanch? Sarpanch is the president of Gram Panchayat and Panchas are the ward members. So this Gram Panchayat is a council. Then let us know who elects the Sarpanch and the Panchayats. It is the Gram Sabha. Gram Sabha elects Gram Panchayat. Then let us see how the Gram Sabha is formed. The Gram Sabha is formed of all adult population of the village. Those who are 18 or above 18 years of age, they are the members of the Gram Sabha. Now, let us learn how Gram Panchayat Samiti is created. Few Gram Panchayats form Panchayat Samiti. Few Gram Panchayats together form Panchayat Samiti, and Panchayat Samiti exists at the block level. Now at the district level, Jilla Panchayat. Few Panchayat Samitis together, they form Jilla Panchayat or District Panchayat. Jilla Parishad chairman is the political head of the Jilla Parishad. You have only learnt the structure and the skeleton, but what about powers? Earlier, these local self-governments were under the direct control of the state, and many drawbacks were in their way, like elections to these local self-government bodies were not held regularly. Even these local governments do not and did not have their power and resources of their own. But a major step was taken in the year 1992 towards decentralization. It brought some reforms like a separate state election commission was established to conduct elections to the local self-governments, and at least 1/3 of seats reserved for women candidates, and seats also reserved for the candidates of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and other backward classes. And it was made mandatory to hold elections regularly. And state governments were asked to share some significant powers with the local self-government. So these reforms were introduced and incorporated, no doubt. But practically, to what extent these reforms are executed, it is also a big question. Because till now, Gram Sabha elections are not held regularly. Even some states also did not share their power with the local self-government. Still, we are a long way from the spirit of federalism. Still, time will decide to what extent the exact meaning of federalism will be implemented. So, in this way, we come to the end of this chapter, Federalism. Students, in the end, I want to convey you that surely good days will come again. We all will rise together collectively towards a better and healthy India. Until then, don't lose hope. Stay positive and optimistic. Stay safe. Thank you.